Hello and welcome to the video. This is a very quick video about how to do some of the timer stuff on a radio like this. Now, I've done videos about how you do stuff like the welcome screen, and I've also talked about how you can do things like change the model image to be the one that you're interested in. But something that I do a lot that I get asked about at the field is how do you get it so that the timer starts automatically as soon as you start flying? Because often what can happen is you can set a timer up on the radio and you can start flying and then forget to start it. And then it's a bit of a guessing game how long you've been in the air. Now, the way I've got this set up is that as soon as I raise the throttle to start flying, the timer is running. So as I'm flying around, doing all my stuff, and then if I put the throttle back down to 0, the timer stops. And that's really handy if you're flying a fixed wing model in particular, where it has the ability to float around. So back up, there we go, and it'll continue to count down, and you can see there's like a little circle that's going to fill in the longer that I'm flying. Now I set the timer for 10 minutes, and when it gets to that, it'll warn me that I'm running out of time and that I need to land. Now the really nice thing about this is if I went and then put another battery in it, at the flick of a switch, I'm going to use this switch here at the back, bang, immediately goes back to being reset. So in this video, let me show you how I've set that up. It's pretty straightforward. This works on all OpenTX radio. There's nothing specific about that. The timer functions in OpenTX are actually really, really cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to press the model button to get into the model menu, and here are the timers that we're interested in. Timer 1 is the one that I've got set up, but there are other timers that you can set as well. Now, by default, it looks like, if I select that and turn it off, it looks like that, where actually all of the numbers need taken off as well. So that's what it looks like when you come in. Okay, and you can choose any of the timers. I just start with the top one, and there are lots of choices for what you do with a timer. You can either have it off, which is how it is now. You can have it on, so as soon as it starts going, it'll start counting. So let me show you what that looks like. There we go. That's just going to be counting all the time. So that might be handy if you want to track something like engine hours. Not necessarily to show it on the screen maybe, but to have that so you've got a rough idea of how long the model's been active. If I press the button again. But you have other options too. So we have THS, which is throttle start. That's the one that will automatically start it as soon as you lift the throttle. You've also got throttle percentage and then other ones as well. And then you can also select that the timer will start in only specific positions. So you might set it so that it only starts and stops on a particular switch. But as I said at the beginning, I always forget to start mine. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on THS like that. And then we're going to set it for, we'll just do a minute. So that's seconds at the end. There we go, just set it for a minute. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we'll return out of that. We will reset the timer with the switch. I'll show you how to do that in a second. And then as soon as I set the throttle, we start counting down. Now, because it's quite a short time period, you can see how quickly the counter's going. But what I'm going to do, I'll just talk about this briefly while it's counting down. You can hear the radio announce the end. So the big thing with this is that if you're ever not clear on how something works, I have a whole set of videos in the OpenTX mixing school that go through this, and I have covered this already, but I thought it would be worthwhile to recover it as I'm getting asked about it. And if you search for the thing you're interested in and add Painless 360 at the end, you'll probably find my video on that topic. But the OpenTX wiki itself is actually really, really good. And if you spend a bit of time mooching through there, any radio like this Radiomaster TX16S powered by OpenTX is going to work like that. So here we go, we're about to finish up. So that's what happened. We can set it to count down as well at the end. So now it's very, very clear on the screen where the problem is. So let's go back into the model memory. So you can turn countdown on or off. You can decide whether it's persistent or not. For something like an engine timer, I would absolutely have that as persistent. You can give it a name if you really want to. The other trick, of course, is that ability that we have, if I exit out of this, to, at the flick of a switch, reset the timer. So let me show you what I've done with that. I'll put the throttle down so it doesn't keep counting while we're playing. Hold the menu to get into the model menu, and then page across, and we're looking for something called special functions. It's towards the end. There it is. And what you can do is, if you press the button once, you can actually then select everything. You can decide which switch you want to put it on. So you can either flick the switch that you're interested in into the position that you want and click enter. So I'm having it on my momentary switch on the corner, which is what I would tend to use it for. Hit enter, go across, select out of all these different things that you can do. You can either do reset timer 1, you can set timer 1 to specific things. I would just go for reset, tell it which time you're interested in. Make sure that this little box at the end is selected, and then when you come out, every time you flick that switch, it'll reset it back to whatever the value is that you've got set here in this screen. So hopefully that helps those of you that were struggling with this. This is how I'd recommend you set it up. It just means that as soon as you start flying and raise the throttle, your timer's running, and it will let you know that you need to come back home. I would always make sure that you set the timer to make sure that when you land, you have at least 80% of your battery left, and see my videos on LiPo batteries that explain all about that. Thank you for watching my video and watching right to the very end. If you want to find out what I'm currently working on, you can follow me on social media by searching for Painless360 in the usual places. If you'd like to become part of the inner circle, then you can become a Patreon. Details are in the description, and you get lots of additional benefits. Check out the playlist section on the channel too. I organise all of my videos into playlists, and it's called something like Introduction to or for Beginners. All of the content is aimed so that you can start at the very beginning, and it teaches you that subject, starting with simple principles and moving up to teach you everything you need to know.